Hello YouTube, Matt here from Vectis 3D Models, and today we're looking at Hornby Pullmans, the earlier versions, about 2007. They were released with a coupling which was screwed into the coupling cam arm, which used to move backwards and forwards, but still does. They replaced these later on with this one, which has the pocket on the end, but the arm is exactly the same. Size, dimensions, everything, apart from the bit at the top which has changed, so they're exactly the same. This is slightly different, but they still work, so can't quite see why they've changed that bit, but there you go. So we're going to try and use the original cam and replace the end. Now there is a slight problem, or makes it more complicated, is the bogie is obviously wired to make the lights work inside. So there's a wire going from the middle of the bogie through the clip and inside, and to get the cam off to do the work you have to cut the wire, unless you're going to take the board out and unsolder it from the board. So I'm going to look at also possibly looking at putting some pin plugs so you can unplug the bogie and plug it back in if needed. It's just a bit of a faff and a bit of an annoyance. So it's just a bit of soldering possibly if you just want to solder them back together and hopefully never have to look at it again. The replacements from Hornby, these ones, are no longer produced, which is why I'm doing it. The part number is X9098M, which is the upgrade cam coupling plate and spring and arms, and there's usually 2 in a pack, and it's about 2 or 3 quid. But unfortunately no longer available from anywhere, including Hornby. So this is why we're doing this. It's quite simple. We're going to use what we have. So all you'll need is needle file, sharp knife, and some Araldite glue. That's all you'll need, hopefully. These are the replacements. So you can see it's just an NEM pocket with a small adapter on the bottom to use what we have on the coupling cam, which is the hole for the screw, and then the shaft itself. So let's get started. So to start, we'll need to take off the coupling. So Phillips screwdriver, just undo. Simple as that. Remove the screw. We will not need that, but always good to put it in the spares box and just pull off the coupling. Now that will leave you with a sort of collar with a raised section in the middle. Now we don't need a raised section, so what we'll do, please mind your fingers, we'll just remove that. Now you can probably do this with some cutters if you wish. So just put that like so. Mind your fingers. Chop that off. Okay, so we've got a bit of filing down to do, just to make sure that's all level at the top. It's very important to keep it level, and I'll tell you why shortly. Just a little bit more on that. And a little bit more that side. Okay, so that's all filed down, nice and level. You can see there. So this is not the right height yet. So this is the converter, you can see here, and it will go this way. There's a little notch at the front, so it will go around the part at the front. So we'll put that in there and get it in the hole. There you go, so that's in the hole. Let's push it down. There you go. So that, which I've just broken. Okay, so with most of the filing done, will need the NEM pocket. So you clean all that up, nice and level, nice and flat. So this is the NEM pocket. It will go facing outwards from the coupling cam, and simply the pin will locate in the hole in the center. It is fragile, and just push it down. Hopefully it will locate like so. And then what we'll need to do, there is a millimeter of the resin collar, and you need to mark underneath that, and that will take you down to the right height. And then you need to remove that 1 mil off the top, either using some cutters and a file or a very sharp knife. So I'll do that now, and we'll come back to it in just a moment. Okay, so you join me on the workbench with the height check gauge from KD. The Pullman has been dry fitted, as I call it, with the pocket which changes it over to the NEM pocket. This has not been glued in, so it might be a little bit high, a little bit low, but it will need a bit of glue once it's been checked. So we'll just run the carriage up to the height adjuster, or height checker I should say, and for me that looks pretty good. That's spot on. It's a little bit low, tiny fraction low, so that will probably be, just needs a bit of glue. Maybe it's dropped down a little bit and should be pretty reasonably good, I think. So that needs a bit more work, but overall it looks pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Now I'll go back to the other workbench and do some small adjustments, bit of filing maybe, and glue it all together. Okay, so time to glue the NEM pocket on the actual shaft of the cam. Now for this I am using Araldite. It's 2-part, mix it up, etc. The best idea is not to put too much on this, and also before mounting make sure this is fitted correctly. You may need to drill the hole in the center in the actual cam slightly deeper. Just use a 2 mil drill bit if you have one. So less is more in this on this occasion, because what you don't want to do is make the glue ooze out or squeeze out when you press the NEM pocket into the hole, and you don't want it around down the back or along the front here, because that will not help the movement of the cam backwards and forwards, meaning it will get stuck and possibly have some trouble. So less is more. Don't use anything runny like super glue. Make sure you can control it, and as I say, less is more, so just use a cocktail stick. Try and clamp it down if you can, especially at the back, so it keeps nice and level like so. Once that is dry, I usually leave it 24 hours just to make sure. You can then basically reassemble the carriage, put the springs back on the cam plate cover, and slide this into position. Make sure it rotates left and right, and then go back to the coupling height gauge, and hopefully we'll have a winner. So I'll do that now. So you join me back on the workbench. Everything is now attached. The NEM pocket is glued. Everything's been checked and is ready to go. So it's all been reassembled a couple of nights ago, and I'm now back out here in some reasonably cooler weather. So let's have a look and see if it's all good. Rolling up to the coupling height gauge, and yeah, looks good. The bar at the bottom possibly needs tweaking a little bit, but everything's in the right place. As I said, this coupling height gauge is drooping slightly, but it is generally in the right place. That's positive. So hopefully these will be on sale very soon. Price range will be about £7 for 14 pockets, or 7 carriages. We're not going to do smaller ones anymore because they don't sell in packs of 4, and it's just a waste of material these days. So trying to cut costs down. So £7 for 14 pockets, or for 7 carriages. This has been on sale on Made Me mainly. There is an instruction video on YouTube which you're now watching, and they'll hopefully be on eBay if I'm allowed to link in the instruction video. Sometimes they allow it, sometimes they don't, which is why some converters are on here and some are not on eBay. Hope this helps some of you who may have this problem of the non-NEM pocket Pullmans, and hopefully see you in the next one, which will be a locomotive NEM pockets for bullied locomotives. Hopefully see you in the next one.